guys, so today we're doing a quick natural 5-minute makeup look. This is for those situations when, I don't know, my bestie texts me and she's like, meet me for brunch in 10 minutes. And I'm like, ugh. It's basically how I pull myself together really quickly to get out the door fast, but at the same time, it's still really long lasting, still really flattering on the skin. It's just good for when you're in a pinch. Now for me, brows are absolutely everything. I can just do my brows and honestly, I feel totally comfortable not wearing any makeup at all. There's something about brows that just, they pull your whole face together, like brows and my glasses, and like I'm ready for like a formal dinner. To set my brows in place, I am still using the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. Literally using this every single day. It is one of the only brow gels that actually hold my brows up in that laminated position without like letting them droop down. And like, you guys know the journey. I have tried a lot. This one's great. The Patrick Tar one is great. The NYX one, their most recent one, their release was great. There's a few cuties, but I do feel like this one takes the cake. So I quickly comb them up and then just sort of push them into the skin. See how already that makes a massive difference to my face? This side looks lifted, it looks more awake, and all I've done is set my brows in an upward position. Then to fill them in, and I'm sure this is again no surprise, the Benefit Brow Micro Filling Pen. Again, I am still obsessed with this. Now, this is a really good way to fill in the brows naturally. You know how sometimes you're like, okay, I've got a brow pencil, a brow powder, and you're like, I'm just going to do a natural brow, real quick one. And then all of a sudden things get hectic and your brows get really heavy. I understand because I have been there so many times. With this, because it's like sort of semi-transparent, it's kind of like there's no risk of overfilling them and overdoing them. Like I pretty much just draw a couple of strokes in like this. Bang, brow done. Okay, moving on to the skin because we want to be quick, and I always go for a lower coverage concealer. So this here is the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. This one is, I would say, like a low coverage concealer. It's not even like a medium coverage, and it's really blendable. It's kind of like a concealer mixed with an eye serum. And with this one, I'm just going to pop it underneath my eyes, and then maybe a little bit just around my nose, just pretty much anywhere where I've got either darkness or redness. We're going for natural today, and we're also going for fast. So we're not wanting to really cover up, I guess, too much. Just make ourselves look a little bit more awake. So blending that in quickly with a sponge. And when it is a low coverage concealer, it melts out into the skin. You don't have to worry about having a line where the concealer ends and the rest of your skin is. It just sort of all melts into one and it looks really natural. It looks like it's not on the skin. See how that's given me kind of like an instant like night of sleep? But you can't really tell that I've got any makeup on. That's the vibe that we're going for with the concealer. Now to add color back into my face, I'm actually going to be using some cream products, and I know you're probably like, oh, you're oily. What are you doing? But these are actually really good for oily skin. So they're from She Glam. They're their liquid bronzer and blushes. And what I like to do with these is just take the tiniest amount. I'm going to dot it sort of on my cheeks and on the other side and a little around my forehead as well. This is going to add a little bit of color to the skin, but again, without really adding any coverage. So we're going to stay looking natural, but we're going to look more alive. And then using the same sponge, just quickly tapping that into the skin. You can of course use a brush to blend this if you want as well. Both work perfectly fine, but normally if I'm like really in a rush, a sponge just seems to be quicker for me. Like it just seems to work quicker, be faster, gets me out the door sooner. So tapping that into the skin, see how it's giving like a really nice wash of color, but it's actually not adding any coverage. So it still looks like my skin, just better. And the other great thing about using a sponge is 9 times out of 10 I've got a little bit left over and I can just tap that onto my eyes as well for a very sheer wash of color. Do we have time for eyeshadow here? Absolutely not. Don't be ridiculous. And then repeating those same steps with the blush, or actually shade-wise, the liquid, it's called the Sunsculpt Liquid Contourer. I've got it in the shade Terracotta, and the blush, the shade Rose Ritual. So repeating the same steps with the blush. These are quite pigmented. That is something to remember as well. So don't go too heavy. I mean, you can if you want, but you're going to end up with a lot of color and potentially looking a little sunburned. So tapping that in, they're just so quick to blend out. Like it's so much faster than doing it with powders. And they kind of dry down to like a powdery finish on the skin. Like it doesn't actually feel like a cream. They're really good. Alternatively, if you don't want to use these ones, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand is a good option for the contour, and the Rare Beauty liquid blushes are amazing as well. Now to kind of melt everything in and give my skin this really soft focus finish, you guys know it's got to be the Dior. The official name for this is the Face and Body, or the Dior Backstage Face and Body Powder No Powder. Basically, this is like a tinted skin perfector. It adds a slight hint of color and just like this really pretty photoshopped finish to the skin. So I'm going to pick this up on a large powder brush, just sort of dusting that in like that. And then basically tap it over the skin. I just love the way my skin looks when I use this, honestly. It's just really, really pretty, really, really natural, really airbrushed, really radiant. Just everything that I want my skin to look, basically this will do. And it really is only the slightest hint of color. Like, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it light coverage. It is literally a tint. See how pretty that's made my skin look? It's just, it perfects it, but again, it leaves you looking really, really natural. I absolutely love this. I have been through, I think 3 of these now, like low-key addicted. Now, because I am an oily girl and this isn't technically a setting powder, I do still need to set my skin down with a translucent powder. If you are not as oily as me, you can totally skip this step. But for me, it's non-negotiable. Also, I know you guys have been asking for the longest time, but our Velvet Finishing Powder is finally back, you guys. You can order them now. They've been out of stock for, I want to say maybe like 5 months, like a really, really long time. And it was so traumatic and stressful and oh my goodness, but they're finally back. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this and just press it over my face as well, just to make sure that I stay looking cute and not looking sweaty and shiny. Now to finish off the eyes, I'm just going to pop on a quick coat of mascara. And again, normally if I'm in a real rush, I won't bother with the lower lashes. Like I'll just pop a little bit of mascara on the upper lashes, just enough to give them a hint of color and kind of open up my eyes a little. But yeah, I feel like the lower lashes is too risky because if you're in a rush, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get mascara on your skin. Then you're going to have to clean that up and it's just going to be this whole thing. And then finally, to finish it off, I like to add a tiny little hint of color to the lips. So no time for lip liner, no time for lipstick, no time for liquid lipstick. For me, a colored gloss is the quickest and the easiest, and you know, you can just chuck it in your handbag and reapply it later. This is the Fenty Hot Cherry Heat. I know it looks kind of intense in the tube, but it doesn't look like that on the lips. Like, look how pretty it is. See how subtle it is? It's so pretty, and this one actually helps to plump the lips as well. So if you're wanting to look a little plumper, not a bad option as well. But here is a finished look, guys. See how natural it is. It's very flattering, but you know, it's gonna last all day. It's gonna stay looking like this all day. You look pulled together, but you're out of the door fast. And like, honestly, this has been my go-to makeup lately. I've been really enjoying, like, I've got one foot in either camp. I'm either like full glam with like glitter and like a cat eye and like an ombre lip, like full on, or I'm very natural like this. If you've got any more questions or you want, I don't know, drugstore options for any of these products, please leave your comments down below. I'll be hanging out down there and chatting with you. And I just hope that you're having a great day and that this video was helpful, and I will catch you guys in my next one.